When I came home that evening, the air in the house already felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. My brother, Mark, was waiting in the living room, arms crossed, eyes sharp. My parents sat nearby, avoiding my gaze, but clearly in on whatever was coming. He started with, "We need to talk." Those 4 words have never meant anything good in this house. Apparently, after years of living there, contributing rent, fixing things, and taking care of them while they got older, I had become inconvenient. Mark had recently gotten married, and his wife wanted to move in. And that, apparently, was reason enough for me to leave. I laughed at first, thinking it was a bad joke. But then Dad spoke, calm and deliberate. "You've had your time here. It's only fair your brother gets to build his family now." Mom chimed in too. "You're independent. You don't need to stay here anymore." Independent. That was their favorite word for justifying cruelty. When I tried to remind them of all the years I'd supported them, covering their bills, buying groceries when times were tough, they looked at me like I was exaggerating. Mark stood tall, chest puffed up, and said, "You're not entitled to this house. Get out." The smugness in his voice was worse than the words. I looked around the room. The same room I'd repainted, the furniture I'd repaired, the walls that held years of both laughter and resentment, and realized they weren't just pushing me out physically. They were erasing me. "Fine," I said quietly, "if that's what you want." No one stopped me. No one asked where I'd go. As I packed my things that night, I noticed something. My brother's wedding invitations sat on the counter, with my name missing from the guest list. It wasn't just about space. It was about replacing me, erasing me completely from their version of family. I walked out without saying goodbye, but as the door closed behind me, I made a silent promise. They might have pushed me out, but they'd soon remember exactly what I had built in that house and how much they'd taken for granted. The first few weeks after leaving felt like standing in the middle of a storm without shelter. I crashed at a friend's place, sleeping on a couch that smelled faintly of coffee and dust. Every time I scrolled through my phone, I saw my family's pictures, my parents smiling beside Mark, and his wife in that same house I once called home. The captions were always the same. "Family means everything." The irony made me sick. I poured my anger into work. I'd been freelancing as a home renovation contractor, taking small projects here and there, but now I went all in. I woke up early, took every call, hustled harder than I ever had. Within months, I was working full-time under my own name. No boss, no hand-me-down family business, no one telling me what I owed. Then something wild happened. One of my clients, a real estate developer, loved my work so much he offered me a partnership on a small restoration project. That one project turned into 3, then 5. My designs were featured in a local magazine. Suddenly, I wasn't the lazy son who stayed home too long. I was someone people trusted with their investments, their homes, their dreams. Meanwhile, I kept hearing things about the old house. The new couple, Mark and his wife, were having problems. She wanted renovations done, but they couldn't afford it. The pipes had started leaking, and the foundation was cracking. Funny enough, I was the one who'd always handled those repairs. Then one evening, I got a call. It was Mom. Her voice sounded tired, unsure. "The house, it's falling apart. We don't know what to do." I almost laughed. "Maybe ask Mark," I said. "He's the man of the house now." Silence. Then a sigh. "He doesn't know how to fix these things." Of course he didn't. He never did. Still, a part of me softened. That house had been more than walls. It held memories, good and bad. Against my better judgment, I agreed to stop by. When I arrived, I barely recognized it. Paint peeling, wood rotting, garden overgrown. Mark stood in the doorway, arms folded, but not smug this time. Embarrassed. "We didn't think it would get this bad," he muttered. I walked through the halls, every creak echoing like a reminder of what they'd done. "You didn't think," I said quietly. "That's the problem." Mom followed me around, wringing her hands. "We were wrong," she said finally, "about everything." I didn't reply right away. Instead, I looked at the broken tiles, the leaky ceiling, the mold creeping up the corners. Then I turned to them. "I can fix it," I said, "but not for free. I'll treat it like any other client. Full contract, full rate." Mark's face twisted in disbelief. "You charge your own family?" "Family?" I said, almost smiling. "You told me I wasn't part of it, remember?" Mom teared up. Dad stayed quiet. In that moment, the power shifted. For the first time, I wasn't the kid seeking approval. I was the adult they underestimated, standing firm on his own ground. They eventually agreed. I restored the house top to bottom. Every nail, every brushstroke was both work and therapy. I didn't just fix the house. I reclaimed my dignity in it. When it was done, Mom stood in the doorway, eyes glassy. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "You brought it back to life." I nodded, wiped the dust off my hands, and said, "Yeah, that's what I do." Then I handed them the invoice. They hesitated, then paid in full. It wasn't about the money, it was about respect. When I left that day, I didn't look back at the house. I didn't need to. It was theirs again, and I had something better, my own peace, my own path. But life has a strange sense of irony. Months later, I bought my own property, a small fixer-upper not far from theirs. The realtor told me it had great bones, just needed a little care. Sounded familiar. Only this time, I was building something for me, not for anyone else's approval. A year later, the tables had fully turned. My business was thriving. My name carried weight in the renovation world. And I finally had a home of my own, warm, peaceful, and built with my own hands. One Sunday, Mom called again. Their roof had collapsed during a storm, and Mark was too broke to fix it. I listened quietly, then said, "I'll send someone over." She paused. "Not you." "No," I replied softly. "I don't do family discounts anymore." Silence lingered before she whispered, "We miss you." That was all I ever wanted to hear, not for validation, but acknowledgement. I had left broken and unwanted. Now they came to me with respect in their voices and humility in their tone. As I looked out at the sunset over my new porch, I realized revenge didn't need anger or confrontation. It was success, calm, steady, undeniable. I didn't need their house anymore. I'd built something stronger, a life where I finally belonged, to myself. If you've ever been pushed aside by the people who were supposed to stand with you, remember this: silence and success speak louder than revenge. Build your peace, protect your worth, and let your growth be the response they never saw coming. Follow for more powerful real-life stories.